That's polyatomic ion sheet. We are going to be on. Do you guys want to talk about worksheet number 5 a little bit? How do you guys feel about worksheet number 5?
Once I got it, I got it.
At first it was like tomato, and then it was like really.
Okay, so this part at the bottom, I kind of want us to make sure that we got this down here at the bottom. All right, so you were given, for number 12, it says lithium chlorate. You see it? Lithium chlorate. Having a struggle here. All right, lithium chlorate. So lithium has a +1 charge and chlorate has a -1 charge. And so when we break it apart into ions, we're going to have lithium plus and chlorate, which is ClO3 minus. So our total formula is going to be LiClO3. We're going to just need one of each. There's positive. And then chlorine, I'm going to just try to make this look kind of even. Bloop. What was that?
That's what my lithium looks like.
Yay!
That's what my chlorine looks like.
So when we draw them, do you want us to put a minus in it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea too, just to indicate that it is an ion. Then where it says how many atoms and how many ions. And so what we can do is we can count our circles. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's one way you can do it. Or you can look at your formula and you can say, okay, lithium is 1 atom plus I've got 1 chlorine plus 3 oxygen. And that's 5. To look at your ions, you want to look over to this side. I've got 2 ions. Woo! There are lots of places you could look. I'm just showing you. There's more than one way to solve it. Okay, the next one, copper 2 nitrate. This is kind of like really convenient because it says copper 2, which tells us that this copper has a +2 charge. That's my favorite part. Nitrate, if you look at your polyatomic ion sheet, nitrate has a -1 charge. So that's going to be NO3 minus.
Work out well.
You think it's not going to work out well?
Yeah, because you can't just put it together.
Oh, it's not 1 and 1?
Yeah.
It's going to be 1 and 2, right?
What?
So I'm going to write copper and then NO3 2.
That is what I
Now, for this atoms and ions thing, if I want to know how many atoms I have, I can do math like I did up here. I can say 1 plus, and then inside the parentheses, I've got 1 plus 3 times 2. All right, so it's like 1 plus 4 times 2. So 2 times 4 is 8, plus 1 is 9 atoms. So I should have 9 atoms when I draw this thing out. I've got 1 copper ion, and then we said we needed 2 of these nitrates. Did. So there's 1, and it's got a -1 charge. And I've got another nitrate, and it has a -1 charge. I guess I didn't even need to put the 1 there. But. And then when I draw my final one, I'm just going to put it over here because it's in the way. I'm going to try to make it look symmetric. Bloop, 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 bloop. Minus, minus. So if I count my number of atoms, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. For ions, I need to count how many individual ions I have all the way over here on the side. And I've got 1, 2, 3. How are we doing?
We're crushing this.
We're crushing this. It's getting easy. Next one, we've got another transition metal, which means it tells us what its charge is.
+3.
Iron is +3. Sulfide is the one that's in the 6th row with oxygen, so I know that one's -2. So we've got iron 3. So iron +3. Sulfide -2. Yes, ma'am.
If we are taking a test over this, will we have this sheet or no?
You'll get the polyatomic ion sheet.
Which is this one?
Yeah, you don't have to memorize it.
Thank you.
It is not an objective of the course, so you don't have to do it. Yep. Many teachers do.
Thank you.
It's an easy quiz, to be honest. Okay, so how many ions do I have? How many ions? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Is that right? What are you doing, Dr. O'Malley?
It's supposed to be the SS3.
Like that. Should be Fe2S3. By the way, guys, this is a mineral that you guys know. You probably love it. No.
Did you say it was quartz or something?
If you decide you would like to participate in Science Olympiad, that's worth extra credit points. Anyway, so I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ions and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 atoms.
Whoa.
I know. This thing just forms a repeating pattern, by the way. It forms a solid.
Wait, didn't you tell me that quartz or something?
It's not quartz. You guys know what it is?
No.
Iron sulfide. It smells like rotten eggs when it starts to decompose.
Yummy.
Makes hydrogen sulfide. Do you guys know what color sulfur is? It's yellow. This is a metallic yellow mineral. It's fool's gold. Yeah. This one here is pyrite. All right, last one. You guys ready? We've got calcium, which has a +2 charge, and sulfate, which has a -2 charge. I always remember this because sulfuric acid is sulfate with 2 hydrogens. It's H2SO4. And so if you have H2, then the SO4 has to be a -2 charge. So calcium is +2, so you have calcium +2. Sulfate, SO4, -2. Calcium sulfate. And I just have one of each. Dash line to indicate that they are together, -2 charge. How many atoms do I have?
6.
Yeah, I have 6. How many ions?
2. Final answer.
2. Final answer.
Final answer.
What show was that from?
Rainbow.
You like my rainbow?
I do.
You know, some days it's just happiness to do this. Okay, do you guys have any questions about worksheet number 6? Grace.
For number 14, is there any specific way to like group them?
Like the molecule at the end?
Yeah.
So the thing with that particular one, like that's an ion.
Don't want them.
So this is more like what it looks like. It's just a regular pattern. They just alternate. So you have iron, sulfur, iron, and each sulfur is surrounded by iron, and the irons are surrounded by sulfur.
But when I'm trying to picture grouping them, does it really matter?
No.
Great. I just want to make sure there's nothing where like I'm gonna.
You guys ready for the next part? All right, guys, here's what we're gonna do today, and hopefully nobody has homework. Nobody wants homework, right?
I love homework.
Good for you.
You're the what?
Yeah.
I'm gonna say great.
By the way, guys, at some point in the near future, we're going to be talking about making videos for Science Fair. Whew. This particular one that I'm using right now is from Screencastify, but if you try to use it at home, the free version only gives you 5 minutes. So I'm gonna show you guys how to set it up so that your stuff all looks good. But if you wanted to record it with me and use my longer Screencastify, that we could do that, but we're gonna have to like make a schedule and have you guys sign up for spots or something. Because the videos might be kind of long, so we might only be able to do 1 or 2 each day. Anyway, all right, so what we're gonna do now is practice with names and formulas. These guys are all ionic. Yay! Which means that they are metals with nonmetals. So we're not doing the rules that have di and tri and the weird stuff. All right, so what we got to do, and this is like the Sudoku of naming things. Sometimes we're given the ions, sometimes we're given the formula, and sometimes we're given the name. And we have to be able to sort these out. So, hold on a second. What?
No, it's just a yawn.
You're going to be okay. Too many colors. All right, so our first one, we've got a sodium and a bromine. Both of those have a charge of 1. So when I write my formula, I'm going to have just one of each. And we're going to go sodium. This is the name of the first element. And then we're going to drop the end of bromine and make it bromide. Sodium bromide.
Bromide.
Guys are a handful. All right, the next one has copper and sulfate. If you need to, you can look at your polyatomic ion sheet. The copper has a +1 charge, sulfur has a -2 charge. So for every one of these sulfurs, we're going to need to balance it with 2 from the copper. So we're going to end up with copper 2 as a subscript and then sulfate. But when we write the name, guys, be careful because this might trip you up. Over here, we're going to write copper. And then we need to use a Roman numeral to indicate the charge. So over here, it's going to be copper 1 sulfate.
That's cool, baby.
It's cool beans.
Question, what is PB?
PB? Lead.
Is
Lead.
that a transitioner?
It is.
Toast is, it's a lead.
Peanut butter equals lead.
Yum. I love having Grace drawn in this class just to like say random things.
If we go down to number 6, we've got barium and iodine. Barium is +2 charge. Iodine's got a -1 charge. Barium iodide.
I have a question.
Okay.
I don't think that this is like a nitpicky thing, but I just want to make sure. When I write it, a lot of times I'll write like barium and I'll write +2 instead of 2+. Does it matter?
Doesn't matter.
Great.
Dr. Malley doesn't care. I think somebody cares, but it's not me. Like, I see that a lot, and I'm just like, it's just semantic. Like, I understand what you're trying to communicate.
AL is aluminum.
Mm-hmm.
I think definitely spelled aluminum very wrong.
Aluminium. We've seen aluminum chloride before, too.
I spelled it ALUMINUM.
All right, guys, so your task for today. We've got this front page. Let's see, if we go farther down, here we've got magnesium and nitrate. And magnesium's got a 2+ charge, nitrate is -1. So we're going to need 2 nitrates for every magnesium. So I think it's nitrate. Yeah. Here we go. Iron 3 tells us that this is a +3 charge. Sulfide is -2. We just saw that one, guys.
Whoa. Whoa.
What was the name of that mineral? Anyway, I was talking about Science Olympiad. So there's a tournament on March something. I think it's the 13th. If you study in advance and you participate in Science Olympiad, you get 2 points extra credit on your quarter grade. And if you get a medal in any of your events, you get an extra point on your final grade.
Whoa. Wow.
Good times.
I know, American said
Final grade.
too sarcastic. Wow. And I don't know, there's just something about it that made my heart a little bit like, you know? I don't know.
What are the categories?
Yeah, what do you guys?
There's a whole bunch of events. Some of them are things that you study and then you take a test, and sometimes you get reference materials that you can use during the test, but the tests are kind of tricky. Some things are building events, so you build a tower, you build a bridge, you build something, and then we try to break it, see how much weight it can hold. Some of them are like we build a little vehicle. So one event is called Gravity Vehicle, and it's about building a car that goes down a ramp, and you have to be able to you have to be able to get it to stop at a set point that you don't know until the day of a competition. There's one where you shoot a rocket and there's a little ping pong ball with a parachute, and the task is whose parachute stays in the air the longest. So that's kind of fun. Did you have your hand up for something, Beat?
I figured it out.
Cool.
I couldn't find strontium.
Strontium? Well, that's not an element.
Wow.
Strontium. Tammy.
Where's manganese? Like, it's like manganese too.
Oh, it's a transition metal. It's in the middle somewhere. It's MN.
So something is in yellow on this, there's a transition metal.
Yeah.
Okay. I can roll with that.
Yes, that is why the yellow is labeled transition metal.
You know, I don't think you should expect me to understand basic human.
You know, it's just honors chemistry. How
I know,
hard can it
it's
be?
hard.
Guys, by the way, so I'm gonna give you the rest of the time to work on this. There's also stuff on the back.
How lovely.
Oh, there is one that's weird. This nitric acid down here. That's nitrite with acid. So that one is HNO. But wait, there's more.
Potassium.
When did you write?
You guys know what AKA means, right? There you go.
We know things.
Sometimes.
I'm just checking.
Times.
Just checking.
AKA.
That's sulfuric acid.
What number is that?
Sulfuric acid. Oh, there's an event that's called geologic mapping. That's can you make a geologic map? And can you read them? There's one about fossils. There's an anatomy one.
Wow.
When is this?
Weird science Olympiad. There's genetics. Oh, there's chem lab. That's really cool. There's a forensics event where you're given like a mystery and you have to try to solve it. There's never actually been a dead body.
Oh,
There's genetics.
don't want to do it now.
Genetics. But it's a test. So like you just have to know how to do genetic stuff.
I like genetics.
Here,
There's like every genetics thing I've talked about, like